Welcome back to another episode of Chaotic Harmony, episode 142. I am your host today, Jonathan Seligman, and today I am joined by the playful, the music man, the CMA 2022-2023 Music Teacher of Excellence, five-time Grammy-nominated music educator, quarterfinalist, Mr. Matthew Trevino. Hello, Matthew.
Hi, it's great to see you.
Great to see you as well. As before we hit record, we were talking about how we've interacted quite a few times online, but it's great to finally actually chat with you in a dynamic kind of way.
Likewise.
I know that you just got back from TMEA, and we chatted a little bit before we hit record, but in a nutshell, how was it?
I love TMEA. TMEA is home. It's in town, so I'm in San Antonio, and it's definitely a different vibe from college when I had to travel, and I had that whole conference feel. The TMEA now, as a dad, as somebody local, it's very different because our kids go to school. I drop them off in the morning and then go to conference. I typically don't stay overnight downtown.
That's fair.
Yeah.
No, I hear you. I guess living in the city of where it's at. I've never been to a conference where the city is in the city where I'm at. So that's really cool that you could just with ease do your daily stuff and also attend the cool things.
Yeah, it's really cool. It does feel a little restricting because when you're away at conference, you can just do all the things. And here I need to get home. You know what I mean?
Sure.
And not that that's a bad thing. It's just different.
Yeah.
TMEA is huge. It's family. Over the years, I've interacted with so many people through college, through Phi Mi Alpha music fraternity, through elementary music online. It's just a big family reunion. It's a huge family reunion.
That's really cool.
Yeah, and it's fantastic. And every year it feels different. This year I wasn't presenting, I wasn't presiding. I was just volunteering for the elementary division and trying to be helpful. And so I didn't make it to the exhibit hall, which is huge, very often. But I mean, it was still so rewarding.
That's awesome. Glad to hear that. But all y'all, we know this is review season is still in the air, but that's on pause for now. This is, though, Chaotic Harmony, the show where we talk about the joys, struggles, and all things adjacent to elementary music. Last week, Jamie and Jasmine shared their thoughts on not CMEA, but CASMEC, California's Music Educator Education Conference. They share the things that they loved and also the things they wish were a little better. Next week, we'll be having another one of those special surprises where at this time of recording, Chaotic Harmony has no clue what's going to be happening next. We're still kind of deciding what we're going to release, but I know it's purely to keep you listeners on your toes. No other reason at all whatsoever. At all. But we'll keep you posted on the socials regarding that. That all said, Matthew, you and I, we've talked quite a bit online for over the past, I think, couple of years now, but I actually don't know much of your background or your story. So do you mind if we start with our program notes? So you teach in San Antonio, you mentioned, yes. And to our listeners that are not part of the second largest state in the United States, where is San Antonio exactly in that big mass?
So San Antonio is Central Texas. It's smack dab in the center. And we've got Austin about an hour north of us. Houston, 2.5 hours that way was at east. And Dallas is about 4 to 5 hours north. Corpus Christi, Texas is 2.5 hours south. So, we're pretty central.
Okay. And I guess that makes sense why TMEA is in San Antonio, because it is in the middle.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. Where do you currently teach? What school do you teach at right now?
So I teach at a wonderful school named Roan Forest Elementary, and it's in Northeast Independent School District, the northeast side of San Antonio.
Okay. How big is that? Because I've seen the pictures and the videos. Your classroom size, I have room envy. I feel like this is amongst all the teachers in Texas. I have big room envy because of how big your classes are. But how big are your schools, student-wise?
So my campus enrollment is about 950, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. That's big. like, what would you say that your demographics are as well, more or less?
So we are a dual language campus. Several of our classes per grade level are Spanish speaking or learning Spanish. And so we do have a high Hispanic population, Spanish speaking. We have a pretty large Indian population. And I mean, it's kind of an affluent area. I mean, the community's great. Everybody's just fantastic.
That's cool.
Yeah.
And but also, like, it's not just you there, right?
No, I have a teaching partner.
That's awesome.
There's two full-time music teachers at my campus, and my teaching partner is pretty incredible. She was my student teacher a couple years ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and she's my teaching partner now.
What's that like, working with someone that was underneath you now is at the same level?
I enjoy it. It's interesting because at the middle school and high school, the secondary level, you have a head and you have an assistant, but we are equals here, and it is it's fun. I mean, I end up working with very young teachers in my role at the school. We've had some turnover over the 11 years that I've been there, and it's fun. It's exciting for me because it's just more mentorship, but it's me offering opportunities for their growth and for them to learn more about themselves and step into that big role.
Yeah. And I'm sure also because they worked underneath you, they also probably have a similar paradigm and philosophy. Would you agree?
Yes, for the most part.
That's cool. And you want to shout out their name? Or
yeah, Mary Shaw. She's a boss. She's
awesome. And so you mentioned you taught there for 11 years. Have you been teaching for 11 years total, or?
So I am on year 17.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I know. How the baby face.
Before Roan Head or Roan Elementary?
Roan. Yeah, Roan Forest.
Roan Forest. My bad.
Yeah, that one. No, it's fine.
Before Roan Forest, where were you at before that? Were you still in Texas, or?
Yeah, so my elementary teaching has all been in San Antonio. I started in San Antonio Independent School District. I worked at one campus for about 2.5 years. So if the math doesn't add up, please let me know. But about 2.5 years, I was at one campus. The last year of that, I got split to two campuses. So I was the only music teacher at two campuses. And then my wife, who is also an elementary music teacher, we both moved to our current school district, where I worked at a school called Woodstone, and they have always had two full-time music teachers, but enrollment dropped. Not because of me. That first year I was there, I had nothing to do with it. And so I was placed at two campuses for 2 years. So Roan Forest is my 5th school to work at.
Okay, very cool.
Yeah.
So you mentioned that it was the first time not first time. You mentioned that it was an oddity that you were at two school sites. Is that uncommon in Texas?
Well,
or
it varies from district to district, sure. But I just looking back on it now, just as a young teacher, being the only music teacher at two campuses, and I was trying to do so much, I would struggle with that now as somebody with a young family.
Sure.
And newlywed, it was fine because we were both, trying to find our place in the professional world, and so it was great. But looking back at it now, I really enjoy putting all of my energy into one campus and one community. Although I know that isn't, everybody. There's some districts and some places where they work several schools, though. I've heard y'all talk.
Yeah. I think it's that envy of, wow, it's a rarity that you're at two school sites. That's really cool, and it's, if anything, it's more of a praise towards the districts, and that also the culture of music in your schools, that it's pretty prevalent. Would you agree that it's pretty prevalent?
Absolutely.
Okay. That's cool. And also saying, so you mentioned a lot, before we go into more of your personal background as far as music education goes, you mentioned something that caught my ear, that you pour a lot into your schools. You have a lot of groups. What kind of ensembles do you have exactly at your school?
I have two groups right now. In the fall, I typically do a choir. We're called the Trailblazer Singers. This year we had like 130 kids in the group, and it's only fourth and fifth graders. Yeah. Some people say you should probably cap that. And I'm like, but it's an opportunity for those kids. It's definitely it's work.
Yeah.
It's a lot of behaviors to manage, and but at the end of the day, it's a lot of great experiences for a lot of kids.
That's
So I have that usually in the fall, and in the spring I have my audition percussion group called Sonido, and I mean they're incredible. They do such a great job. I used to have a third grade bucket drum line when we did pep rallies. And so we met like 2 or 3 times at the beginning of the year, learned a couple quick little things. And at every pep rally every month, we would have them up front, being the drum line. And it was a lot of fun. We haven't done that for a few years, but I definitely miss that.
That's really cool, man. Awesome. So you mentioned you've been teaching for 17 years. Perhaps we haven't checked the math yet, but I'm sure we'll fact check that. We'll place it in some sort of overlay. I don't know. But were you always aiming to be an elementary school teacher? Was that always your plan?
No, it wasn't. No, it was not. So when I started college, I had the vision of being a secondary band director, middle school, high school, even college. I was like, how far am I going to go with this? And it wasn't until my student teaching that I realized that elementary music was a possibility. I did not have a traditional elementary music experience growing up, and so I didn't know. I had no idea. And so once I found it, it's like, wow, this could be fun.
What do you mean by you didn't have a traditional elementary music experience? What was that like for you?
So I went to a fine arts academy in Corpus Christi, Texas. They had Chula Vista Academy of Fine Arts, and it was basically like a middle school format, like middle school here, where we got 2 electives every day, every single day of the year. We got to go to our 2 classes of our liking, of our choosing. So I was in Suzuki strings from first grade to fifth grade. I was in art every day. I had an art class literally every day until fourth grade. Fourth grade, you can join beginning band. So that's when I joined band. And so I did not have a general music class.
Okay.
And so what I did not do as a child.
Gotcha.
I had great experiences. It led me on my path to what I'm doing right now, but it wasn't the same.
It was much more, I guess, of what we talk about in our podcast, the conservatory approach, where when you're in band, or the ensemble approach, very much. That's still pretty cool to hear. So you said that things changed when you went to student teach. But you were already when you were in university, first off, which university did you go to?
I went to Texas A&M University, Corpus Christi.
Okay.
Yeah.
And during that time, through their program for student teaching, were you required to do both elementary and secondary? Or, okay. So once you tasted elementary, things changed.
Yes.
What was it like? What did you see that really changed your perspective?
The kids, the joy, the fun that was happening with music making inside that elementary music class. It's just, it's just contagious. It was awesome.
Do you remember who it was or what style of teaching they were doing? Was it more Kadai? Was it more Dalcroze? Or for just the woman behind the piano with hankering
That's a great
keys?
question, because I just saw my elementary cooperating teacher at TMEA. We're still in contact. And so he, Ernesto Carrion is his name. And he didn't have a single approach. He just taught. There was a kind of a fusionist like I ultimately am now. I mean, I'm ORF certified, but I just do what do what I feel like the kids are gonna grab onto, and so that's what he did. He saw that these are the standards I need to teach. What's going to be the best way to do that? And it was just great. It was just such a fun thing to do. His classroom had chairs. So that's the one thing that I did it my first year teaching. I was like, I need more room for movement. I can't do chairs. But I mean,
And you say that with the big rooms you have.
that's true. Yeah. More room. I need more room.
No,
Knock down
seriously.
that wall. Knock down that wall. No, I'm just kidding.
I mean, honestly, there are a lot of things I would like to do in my school if I could, as far as construction goes, but alas.
I know.
So you observed him. He kind of changed or not just observed, you student taught under him. Was that first or was that second? Did you have to do secondary first? Or did you have to do elementary first?
I went to secondary first. I was at a high school doing marching band. And it was really cool because my father was a counselor at that high school, and so we got to ride together. It was just such a great time that I think fondly back on. And I had a great time. They went to the state marching contest. They were doing very well, and it was great. But the vibes in elementary are just so much different.
Yeah.
And even just student teaching at the elementary level, I feel like a lot of cooperating teachers at the elementary level are able to kind of hand over the program a little bit more to a student teacher because you have the one class and like you can be there to monitor. Whereas with the band programs, you have the marching band, you've got 3 different bands, you've got, let's pull them for sectionals. So sometimes student teachers at the secondary level will have only taught sectionals or individual lessons instead of being on the podium teaching the whole group. But in elementary school, I feel like I got to get up in front of the whole group and just find my footing, and that was so valuable.
For sure. Yeah. Like I went to a high school where I was with a part-time music teacher, high school teacher. And so I was given a guitar class, and on occasion I would do warm-ups or ran one piece with their sole period of concert band. But yeah, I hear you there for sure. Like there's definitely a desire to hold on to the ensembles more than it is for elementary.
Yeah. Well, they also have contests, and they have, they're just scoring things that they have to do, and that's not really the case with elementary.
Right.
So so we're able to a little bit more.
That's very true. That is very true. I also like no besmirchment to my cooperating teacher. She was awesome. It was just a really weird position that she was in.
Yeah.
So something that's really prevalent in the videos that I've watched, because you've posted a lot of videos, which we'll get to in a bit, is that you love to, it's like bringing joy to your students is a really key thing. And I know joy looks different amongst every teacher. So for you, what does student joy mean to you?
So student joy to me has a lot to do with success and just joy, happiness. And you do that by building connections. So, I could complain about my morning duty that I have to do every day where I open the car doors for kids, even though they know how to open their own car doors. But being the first person on campus that they see and having that positive interaction with them, and oftentimes a guardian who's dropping them off, that feels so valuable. And so we've already established something for the day. So I see them in the hallway or they're walking into class, and it's not our first time seeing each other. We've already interacted. And I just love building connections. It's so important. So, this is the tricks of the trade here, but
by all means,
the hand, the high five. That's so important. Like, yeah, give me a high five. But what's even more powerful is the pull away, right? That
the pull away.
Hey, good to see you.
Oh, Okay.
So this is not very deep, but I feel like, with any age kid, you can go like this. All right, what's that? Whoosh, and then you do that, and then y'all are connected. That's it. Y'all are best friends now. And-
So if I gather what you're saying, also to our audio listeners, it's the pulling away of the hand for like prank wise, whatnot.
Yeah.
And I feel like, yeah, like even in the sense of greeting, giving, having being fun and recognizing that everything doesn't have to be serious all the time. Yeah, because I think playfulness is something I've noticed a lot with a lot of your videos for sure. Yeah, so you mentioned tricks of the trade, being jokester, or whatnot, or just even greeting them at the door. We do a lot as music teachers, and I think a lot of teachers are just bogged down by all the things we have to do. But you still have an energy that, like, yes, it's required to go to the car doors. It's required to greet the kids. But what propels you to constantly have such a positive and happy attitude?
That's the whole reason I'm there. I'm there to help be a bringer of joy, to share my heart through music, through myself, and part of myself is just being a positive person in their lives. And I've been through some stuff. I could very well wake up and be like, I'm not going to be nice today. I don't feel good, or like I've been through a lot. But ultimately, how do I want my students to feel? I'm not saying that masking is necessarily the way, but if you want to if you want to bring joy to these kiddos, you can't be grumpy. You know what I mean? You can't just be grumpy all the time, taking yourself too seriously. That's definitely a piece of advice that I have for people too, is don't take yourself so seriously. Sometimes you need to. Sometimes you definitely need to. But, as a default, I like to not take myself so seriously. It helps to not get bogged down by all of the stressful things going on. So, yeah.
Yeah. Something Crystal and I have often talked about is like a requisite of being an elementary music teacher. You got to be a goober to some extent. You got to be, yeah, like you said, like you can't take yourself too seriously. There are moments we're going to play for us.
Oh, anything. I just have it on hand. I just have it on hand. Yeah.
Is that through your sleeve? Just have it constantly?
Yeah.
The soprano recorder or soprano?
Soprano.
Okay, cool.
Are you trying to figure out my body size right now? Is that what you're saying?
I'm just trying to figure out tricks of trade. That's all. You taught for 6 more years than I have, so I'm just trying to learn here. So I also recognize that, like, for me, I'm a huge advocate of joy. But I also recognize joy and happiness, they're different. And I also recognize that individual happiness can sometimes get in the way of collective joy. So like a student really loving their, having fun, but then recognizing that there's a world or there's a classroom or there's a community that exists outside of them. Mm-hmm. And that can affect the classroom. And oftentimes something that hinders us as teachers from being joyful is the belief that we need to be a strict person to ensure that the law is set down. So as someone as yourself who loves fun, but also I'm guessing doesn't love madness, how do you structure the class, be it physically or standards or systems that you set up, or something else, to ensure that everyone is experiencing fun in a respectful way?
That's a great question. So we start every class period with a dance party. Like 3 minutes dedicated at the beginning of class for the students to get up, release their wiggles, socialize, have those conversations with their friends that they're not able to have during their general classroom time. And that's an opportunity for me to get a feel for the room, see, if there's a student that has any specific needs for that day. And it's just a great opportunity to just get in the right frame of mind for the rest of the class. So we do that. And there's been one or two students over the years, one or two, so not many, who have been like, well, we don't dance. We're fifth graders. Fifth graders don't dance. That was a new student to the school, and then I started the music, and they saw the whole class just having the time of their lives, and then they were quickly turned into believers. And so, it could be popular music. It can be, well, most of the time it's popular music, to be honest.
You don't put on that, class Baroque, just a little Bach to dance to. I mean,
Yeah.
there's some good Bach movements, but
Putting on some waltzes and very structured. No, it's definitely more free. I tell them I'm not judging your movements. I just want to see that you're moving to the music, that you're interacting with your friends. And so then when we're done with that activity, I feel like that I've given them something. And so now they're ready to go for whatever we're going to do for the rest of the lesson. So
how long are your classroom sessions, out of curiosity?
So it changes every year, as far as the frequency at which I see them. But my classes are 50 minutes.
Okay.
50 minutes, and I do see my classes twice a week.
Oh.
I know.
I know. A big difference.
It's a big difference. Well, and so there's some trade-off here. So my class sizes are big, 30, 35 sometimes. That's the only way that you would be able to see them more frequently.
Sure.
Right? Because of personnel and, the splitting and everything. So we see our classes twice a week for 50 minutes. So I feel very fortunate that that's the situation. We get to really dive into some things. Our school is kind of busy, so when we have something that comes up that kind of messes with our schedule, I don't feel as bogged down. Like, oh man, I don't have like a sequence that like everybody needs to be like in the same place. Moving. This group's on like day one of this group's on day two. Like I've had to be more flexible with that sort of thing. So out of the 2 days, I'll do the initial lesson, and on the second day we'll do extensions and we'll build on that. If we don't get to the extensions and stuff like that, they still got the meat and potatoes. They still got the gist of it. So I mean, that's kind of how I do that.
That's really cool. So 100 minutes a week. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So dance party, you talk about that. You start out with that. Is there any other structures that you use to like help make sure that fun's happening? But let's be real here. Let's also don't be getting other people's space as well.
Honestly, at this point, not really.
Okay.
We've gone over our expectations. We've seen it. Sometimes it will be hey, you're going to be in your space. You're just gonna, like a guided movement activity, like a Just Dance or that sort of thing. But most of the time it's not. It's like, okay, you can find your group of people. You can be by yourself if you want. Whatever you need to do, you do it. Something that I meant to say earlier, kind of about the joy, the collective joy, just success. When we're at instruments, when we're singing a song, when they feel like they're being successful, everyone's happy, and so. I'm just going to use the xylophones as an example. When we're working on something, we're learning this little bit of the melody. I'm not trying to play a whole song. We're just like playing a little, like a measure or 2 measure thing. And so we'll break it down and we will find joy in the success of locking in.
Yeah.
just getting it. And part of my thing is that I'm not laying into them hard. It's like, oh wow, that's so good, and give them opportunities for independent practice if we're working on something, and when they're successful, they're really feeling good, and I offer lots of opportunities for the kids to be successful.
That's cool. Yeah. So get the jitters out, and it seems and finding ways to ensure success with the students, but also it seems like this culture has really been established over the past 11 plus years. So that's a big plus. I hear that. That's cool. So I mentioned about videos. You made a lot of vertical videos, like a lot. I was trying to scroll, just trying to find like a bunch of them, and I kept on scrolling. I did not stop. There are so many videos on, be it on TikTok, Instagram. You're quite, what's the word I'm looking for? Not virtuosic. Prolific. You're quite prolific in your pump out of videos. And so just for some context to those who don't know about Matthew's videos, these aren't just videos that showcase your kids. It's also comedic school situational videos, pep talks to teachers, like speaking to the camera, or questions to all the listeners, or music teacher dad jokes. It's quite the array you got. First off, do you remember the first video you made ever?
The first video for TikTok was something that I was doing for a training. Like we were doing something about some app. I don't remember. And I recorded a video with my son, who was a little bit younger at the time. I've been doing this for a little while, but I said, "You know what my favorite instrument is?" Because I had my sax in my hand. And I said, "Not this." And I put it down. As a dad, my favorite instrument is, and I called my son over and I picked him up and I started tickling him, and he's just giggling. So like, that's my favorite instrument. And like that's one of my favorite videos.
That's so cool.
Yeah. But there's 5 of us. I've got 4 brothers. I'm the 4th out of 5. And we've been making videos together since I was tiny. Just with the big camcorder, just home videos.
Okay.
And so, I've always enjoyed being in and making videos. A lot of the videos I made during the hard times around the 2020s.
So what happened there? Something happened?
Something. Yeah. Yeah. I was making some like heavily edited videos. I was producing some of the virtual choir style videos with my kids.
Yep.
And I learned how to video edit it, and just by watching YouTube videos and those dance parties, because I was a part of my classroom culture. I recorded about 18 dance party videos where each of the people that were dancing in the video were in front of the green screen individually, and I was sitting in front of my computer editing all weekend. And I'm still tired from that, but I'm so glad that media exists, and it's still all on my YouTube channel. I've got a playlist called Cool Videos, and like there's some cool videos on there.
That's cool.
Highlighting my kids and the program and all of that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like I was on a similar trajectory. Like I dabbled with like video edit. I never had the camcorder, but like, with the whole point and shoot, my friends and I would make videos, and like, Windows Movie Maker, whatnot. So I had a little bit of a taste, but it wasn't until COVID that I really started learning about videography. And I bought a DSLR probably 2 years prior, mostly for taking pictures, but it ended up being my main thing for recording videos. And yeah, similar to you, I still feel the tired of that 5 years later.
Right.
Oh gosh, it was a lot of pump out. Yeah. So I feel you there.
And so right now, being able to edit, I use CapCut, like on my phone. So, since I started making the vertical videos, I've been using CapCut, and it's, I'm just there on my phone. It's a lot easier. I don't have to, take my whole self here. Like, I could still be like, this is gonna sound horrible, but like when the kids are playing like video games or they're working on their homework, I can like, edit a video and I'm still like there.
Yeah.
Instead of like in the computer space, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Even if you can't be mentally there, you're at least physically there, as opposed to, when you're on a computer, this is all you're working on.
Yeah. 100%.
So I guess, maybe I know that, maybe I don't know. Like, what inspired you to get into the social media space? Was just like curiosity? It was just like you wanted to have fun, or did you have like a goal when you started experimenting with the social medias?
So the initial goal of my social media work was to advocate and promote my music programs in an effort to get more performance opportunities for my kiddos, to build connections with other music programs, possible collaborations, that sort of thing, and informing the parents about what's going on, and just getting the community buy-in. So a lot of it, even still, like, has to do with advocating and promoting the music program. So yeah, that's where it all started. And so I know a lot of people in social media keep it separated. I am very transparent. I it's all kind of connected, and this is not necessarily the way, but this is how I'm doing it. So like you mentioned, if you go to my socials, you'll see videos of my students performing, and those videos are being viewed by people around the world, and I'll get questions about stuff. So it gives me an opportunity to mentor and assist other music teachers from all around. And I value that so much. But it's also a chance for me to connect and support teachers. We have the Teacher March Madness thing that's going on. It just started up again. We're on year 5. It's a TikTok teacher competition that I won the first year, and that I've been co-hosting ever since, and just offering teachers a platform to share about themselves and to connect with other teachers. And it's really special.
That's really cool.
Yeah. So, and then just being quirky, just kind of being a character, but the character is actually me. you know,
Just being showcasing a specific facet of yourself.
Yes.
Yeah. That's something actually I liked a lot about your stuff, because when I first started using TikTok, at all, I was looking on my teacher TikTok, just like what's out there, and I kept on finding a bunch of stuff about just like outfit of the day, or like look at my cute classroom, and that's fine, no judgment towards that, but it wasn't what I was looking for. But the fact that you had stuff that was, it was showcasing your kids, but you also had stuff just trying to overall advocate for the profession is what stood out, and so I appreciate that. And also, I remember you connecting me to, I don't think it was March Madness. I forget what it was. But you connected me with that. I think it was summer break. We were doing showcasing. Yeah. So you connected me into that.
On summer break. Yeah.
Right. And so like, oh, cool. And it's just that being part of a bigger community was really nice. So yeah. And so I guess is that the goal? I guess the goal hasn't changed for you then, being on social media.
Not really. No. I enjoy offering mentorship, offering myself as a resource. I enjoy helping to get my students seen, so that way they can have opportunities. And along with that, I mean, I do feel like when people see my students doing their thing and just enjoying making music, that teachers are getting inspired. And I know that, even just at TMEA, there was several teachers that came up and said, I have a percussion group now. The kids are having so much fun. And so like that is so valuable to me. It's pretty much the same purpose as it originally started as.
That's awesome. So something that we talk about on Chaotic Harmony a lot is imposter syndrome. It initially was just someone mentioned it, but it's become more and more prevalent, especially actually since COVID. I think more people were talking about it. As I mentioned at the very beginning of this episode, you've received quite a few accolades, and for some that can help imposter syndrome disappear. For others, it might exacerbate it. I know for myself, receiving the CMA for MTOE in 2024, it's done a bit of both, which is always interesting.
Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Do you find that you still struggle with, well, first off, have you ever struggled with imposter syndrome?
100% every single day.
And so you say every single day. So it's still, despite the loads of accolades, it still affects you. Yes,
absolutely.
What are ways that you find that you help mitigate that?
So, even as it ties to student teaching. So like when I get a student teacher, I say, you could be with any cooperating teacher and they've got great skills. I have certain things that I'm not great at and I will admit to, but I also have things that I am very good at that I can contribute. It helps me when I have somebody there to improve myself at the things I'm not great at. So lesson planning, not my paperwork, not my thing. But being in front of the kids and just building connections and doing a lot of the hard work, the heavy lifting, I feel like I can contribute that and be a good model for that. But yeah, I think a lot of that's the same. Like you can learn from anybody. You can learn something from everybody. And so when it comes to how I kind of work through the imposter syndrome, I remember, you know what? I've put myself out there. So I feel like the people who are seeing me know the things that I feel confident in. And so, I mean, it is hard. It is hard. A little while back, I was invited to be the guest conductor for the Fort Worth Honor Choir. And they contacted me earlier in the year because they wanted somebody doing choir and instruments. So, I cleaned up a couple arrangements and added the vocal parts and I was so excited. I showed up and there was like 150 of the most phenomenal kids singing in this church with the most angelic voices. I was like, I don't consider myself a choral guy. I teach a choir, but my wife is like the choral expert in this house. You know what I mean? And here I am in front of giant school district music teachers and all of these phenomenal kids already making such beautiful music. I definitely felt imposter syndrome at that event. I mean, it was great. It turned out fantastic, but I definitely had to get myself in a space where it was like, they reached out to me. They knew what they were getting. And so I'm just going to offer the best that I can. And it seemed like the kids had a great time. We interacted really well. And of course they made incredible music and it was just a fantastic experience. But walking in that door, is this like, I'm doing this? This is crazy. There's another time where I spoke at the TMEA first general session in like our big conference center with, 3 tiers of seating, and it was full of fine arts administrators, college music professors, high school band directors, everybody was there. And my job was to hype them up. And I was like, I can do that. I wrote a script. I was like, I got this. And then the day of the rehearsal, the coordinator said, oh, you can't use a script. You're the hype 'em up guy. You can't use a script. And and the thing about me that if we ever saw each other in person, you'd realize very quickly that emotionally I'm like 120. Like my memory also is really, really bad, and my vision is going quickly. So like I'm falling apart. I'm like, but so, and again, the memory thing, like I already wrote out this great stuff. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this. It's gonna be so good. And then I got up and on the stage, and this place is gigantic, lights everywhere, seats, and I was like, how am I going to do this? Well, eventually what happened was I studied my notes the whole time. I tried to memorize, I walk out and I say, hit the music. And then I start dancing, and then there's people dancing and the lights are going crazy. I'm like, this is crazy. I started talking and I went cotton mouth immediately. It's like, ugh. Like
Cottonmouth?
Yeah. Do you know when your throat just dries up and you're like,
oh yeah. Okay. Gotcha.
You have trouble swallowing. It's like a nervous system thing. You're like, oh, and so in front of all these people, like it's just total brain fog. I don't remember it. It's just like looking back at videos, I'm like, wow, I did that. But like, sometimes things are hard. Sometimes, like you don't feel like you're the person for the job, or you don't feel like you can contribute everything, but then you just go out there and do it. You have to put yourself in that situation where you just do it, or else you're not going to do it. Like if you don't get out there, if you don't put your feet into the water, you're not gonna swim. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's kind of a big thing with me, is just, I'm nervous about this. I don't know if I'm the person, but I just get out there and do it. I've, with all of these awards and stuff, like I've had to interview, I've had to do all this sort of thing. Take a deep breath and just try
Perform.
to be myself. Yeah. Perform.
I think what you said with the first example really stood out. Like they called you here for a reason. And you might feel like other people are more qualified. I put heavy quotes to my audio listeners, but like in the end, you are here. You like, they want you to be here. So might as well give the message that you have, because you have a good message to share. Like, or for you have a good dance party to give up a good hype to and whatnot.
I still can't believe that. That's crazy.
You have videos of that?
I do.
That's
I do.
cool. I mean, no, I'm not going to ask you to send to the chaotic harmony people, but just curious. So I guess then, like, just as we wrap things up, like, since you've done this on your vertical videos, like, if you can give a word of encouragement, here on this podcast let's go for two audiences. Do you have like a word of encouragement you would give to new teachers, or prospective teachers, either or, and then one word of encouragement to those in battling imposter syndrome? What would be your word, or two words, I guess?
Can it be 3?
I will allow 4.
Okay, up to 4. Okay. There's this Charles Barkley clip where he says, like, on one of his shows, he's like, I've got 4 words for you. And then he says like 8 words. And like Shaq and them are looking at him like, wait.
Math in here.
So I brought up a basketball reference, but my words of encouragement are just do it. Just do it. So there are times when you might not feel comfortable with something. It's not in your wheelhouse. Just do it. You're looking for support, but you don't want to ask. Just do it. If you just do it. I mean, everybody's nervous. Oh, that's my son. Hi. If you don't just get out there and do it, then it's not going to get done. You will never cross that threshold, taking you to the next level. You've got to step out there and do it. I mean, have this conversation with the kids too. If you're nervous about choir, what's the best way to get over that? And you just got to do it. You're nervous on stage. Well, step up there with 130 of your friends doing the exact same thing as you. Like, just do it. So I mean, this is not a Nike commercial, but I mean, that's a big part of who I am. I'm just gonna do it. When it came down to the virtual choir stuff, like, that was a lot of work. Just do it. I got it done. It exists now. Everybody had a great experience that they wouldn't have had if I didn't step out there and just getting it done. And I mean, I feel like that goes with the imposter syndrome too. Like, just do it. That's it.
Just keep on going. Put one foot in front of another. Well, Matthew, thank you so much. Thank you for doing this podcast. And it's been great to finally have a dynamic conversation with you versus those multiple texts we've had over the years. But thank you for joining us.
Can I say something to you?
Yes, by all means.
Thank you. Thank you for what you're doing. Thank you for sharing the voice of the things that we're doing in the classroom, the struggles, the joys, all of the things. Thanks for helping be that voice, all that work. It's work. You're doing it.
Yes.
You're taking time out of your day. Thank you.
Well, thank you. I do appreciate that. And thank you, listeners. But because we've been chatting for quite a bit, we will be back after the break.
Hey, we just want to take a quick moment to shout out Mission Trails Financial, the partner making this show possible at no cost to you. If you've ever felt overwhelmed by financial planning, you're not alone. But Mission Trails Financial is here to make things simpler. They offer tailored financial advice for you, from investments to tax and insurance planning, with a team of experienced fee-based advisors who are CFP designated and fiduciaries. That means they're putting your best interests first. Let's face it, navigating the world of finances can feel like drinking from a fire hose with endless options for investments just a mouse click away. But Mission Trails Financial aims to cut through the noise by breaking things down into clear, actionable steps while providing regular updates. Mission Trails Financial believes everyone has the right to work with a financial advisor regardless of how much you've saved. Mission Trails Financial's focus is building a relationship so you are not traveling your financial path alone. They even help you keep track of old 401ks when you're transitioning between jobs, because your financial future should always stay on track, no matter what changes. So don't wait. Let Mission Trails Financial show you how to make that next step towards the future you've worked hard for. Plus, your first consultation is absolutely free. Just visit missiontrailsfinancial.com or call 619-419-0238 today. You'll be glad you did, because leaning on professionals like Mission Trails Financial is how we get ahead. Check out the program notes for more details. Advisory services offered through New Edge Advisors LLC, a registered investment advisor.
And we are back, but if you're not a new listener, you know what's up. A hard left turn. Thank you, everybody, so much for being a part of this journey, whether you joined us in the very beginning or you're joining us today. It is wonderful to have you here. And if you want this journey to continue, please support the things you love. We have a Patreon, patreon.com/chclassroom, where you can get special merch and also other things for the class, be it principles or other things coming up. The Patreon has been revamped. January's principles are out already. We also have posted February's newsletter. We also have unedited episodes because we chat for a long time, and I know not everyone wants to listen to 90 hours of episodes. So, so we have the unedited episodes, which you can get for free. You don't need to be a paying member for that. However, I understand subscriptions are weird, so we do have a buymeacoffee.com. If you just want to give a one-time donation, buymeacoffee.com/chaoticharmony. If you donate there, you can give a shout out or request a spiccato. But if you don't have a coin to toss away, that's okay. There are free ways to support us. Leave us a review on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. It helps this podcast be seen by more people and help this community grow even more. And you know the drill. I know we count to 4 in music, but 5 is the only answer. 5 stars only. If you could do 6, 7, we do it. But 5 stars is it. Also, you can follow us on YouTube. Give us a written review on Apple Podcasts. We will read it. All these important things, all these things, small things, important things, ensure that these lights and mics stay on. Next off is our spiccato. So to new listeners, this is a segment where we take a random item and find ways to use it in the classroom. However, thanks to a friend of the show and longtime listener, Joshua Block, we have added to this segment the reversed version, where I will spin a wheel, which may or may not be added in post. And this wheel has music teacher topics that we have to find a random item to teach the topic on. So topics are mirroring, ABA form, melody, dynamics, and vocal exploration. And as a caveat, Matthew, you don't need to have the item on you. If it's not next to you, no need to grab it. It's like,
man.
If you do,
9
more points.
Yeah.
All right, you ready? Let's go spin this wheel that only I can see at the moment. And alrighty, we are on mirroring movement. So what is an item that you can get in your house that could teach mirroring?
So how about a computer charger?
Okay, expound. How would you teach mirroring with a computer charger?
Well, kind of like a scarf.
Okay.
Kind of like it's just a manipulative. So instead of just your hands, you have something to expand, to retract. You have lots of options for circles, different shapes, different all kinds of wonderful things. I'm looking at my charger, that's why I keep looking around. But it's just kind of the idea of having something to manipulate that can go from one place to another, stretch across the space.
Okay, I could see that. And I also like, even before we teach mirroring, like just having a picture of a still item that they can replicate is a good way to scaffold towards mirroring. So like if it's a little more still, then that works. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay. And also if your charger's plugged in, it has that lit up portion that kids can look at, whatnot.
Oh, I like that.
I, for some weird reason at my house, happen to have an Expo eraser.
Okay.
My fiance is always like, why do you always have Expo markers in your pockets? Like, it happens. It just happens. They copulate in my pants. Like, I'm gonna erase that part. Nope, never mind. That's take that part out.
Is that an Expo marker in your pocket?
I have to. Anywho, but I happen to have this Expo eraser, and I think similar to you, like the whole still portions or maybe statues. I know I'm cheating. I'm thinking more like statues here, but what if you drew a picture of, on a whiteboard, a stick figure, have them pose, and then with the eraser, you erase that, and now they have to copy.
I love that.
Erase a leg. Now they have to be one-legged. Erase another arm, but you have to add, maybe you need an eraser.
Be reasonable, yeah.
I mean, and then maybe, then you can just do this to a line. How are you going to make a line? It's more abstract.
Yeah.
So
I like that.
Those are options. Listeners, what would you do? How would you teach mirroring using a household item? Let us know at chaoticharmonyclassroom@gmail.com. Matthew, thank you so much. It's been wonderful chatting with you. And is it for sure, or is it still in the works about this fall coming to conference?
Oh, I will be there.
Okay, very cool. Well, I'm looking forward to meeting you in person. Matthew, I know you do a lot of touring, whatnot, at a lot of different kinds of workshops and conferences. Are you leading a session anywhere in the upcoming months or no?
So right now is that in between time where I'm just waiting, and hurrying up and wait. So Perry Poll has reached out to me. They're the ones who have invited me to Virginia and Oregon. So I had a wonderful time at those MEAs, and I'm hoping that this next year we can do the same. Actually, I am going back to Virginia. I was at VMEA in November, and some of the fine arts director saw me there and said, "Hey, I want you to come and present for my district." So in the span of 2 years, I will be in Virginia 3 times.
Nice.
Yeah. So I'd love to go to Florida. I'm looking forward to conference as well. I mean, it's just I love meeting people and seeing all the wonderful things that are happening.
Gotcha. Well, if you are not in those areas, but you will be at conference, you can see Matthew then there. But if they want to reach out to you, Matthew, how can they reach out? If they have listened to this podcast, they say, "Man, this guy's pretty dope." How can they reach out to you?
Well, you can find me on social media. I am on TikTok. I'm on Facebook Reels. I'm on Instagram, YouTube, Mr. Trevino, the Music Man. And I love to communicate through there. You can also just see what I'm up to. And if you are also someone who makes videos, I can see what you're up to, and that makes it a lot more fun. We could just be supportive of one another.
Awesome. Oh my goodness. Is there a tilde over the end?
No, there is not. I mean, you pronounce it with it, but I don't.
Oh, okay. So, but it's Trevino. Okay. I will correct that in my head. Cool. So sorry, just because I went on that whole mental thing place. They can find you once again, socials at Mr. Trevino. Yes?
Yes.
Okay, cool. And you can find me at Mr. Seligman, MrSeligman on the similar socials, TikTok, Instagram, a little bit of Blue Sky, and you can find us also, Chaotic Harmony. You can find us at CH Classroom if you want to contact us and If you want to more directly and more formal ways, chaoticharmonyclassroom@gmail.com. Matthew, it has been a pleasure chatting with you, and I can't wait to meet you in person soon enough.
Likewise. Thank you so much for having me.
Awesome. Until next time, everyone. Bye.